turvasuschodita pitra druhyuschanushcha bharata pratyachakyur adharmagyam hi anitye nitya buddhayaha. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charanarvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. O Maharaja Parikshit, Yayati similarly requested his sons Turvasu, Druhyu, and Anu to exchange their youth for his old age. But because they were unaware of religious principles, they thought that their flickering youth was eternal, and therefore they refused to carry out their father's order. Text 42. Aprichattanayam purum Vayasonam gunadhikam natvam agrajavat vatsa mam pratyakyatum arhasi. Translation. King Yayati then requested Puru, who was younger than these three brothers but more qualified. My dear son, do not be disobedient like your elder brothers, for that is not your duty. Text 43. Please repeat after me. Shri Purur Uvacha Kaha Nu Loke Manushya Indra Konu Loke Manushyendra Pituhu Atmakritaha Puman Pitur Atmakrita Puman Pratikartum Kshamaha Yasya Pratikartum Kshamo Yasya Prasadat Vindate Param Prasadat Vindate Param. Shri Purur Uvacha Konu Loke Manushyendra Pituratmakrita Puman Pratikartum Kshamo Yasya Prasadat Vindate Param. Shri Purur Uvacha Konu Loke Manushyendra Pituratmakrita Puman Pratikartum Kshamo Yasya Prasadat Vindate Param. Shri Puruhu Uvacha. Puru said, Kaha, what? No, indeed. Loke, in this world. Manushya Indra, O your majesty, best of human beings. Pituhu, the father. Atmakritaha, who has given this body. Puman, a person. Pratikartum, to repay. Kshamaha, is able. Yasya, of whom prasadat, by the mercy, vindate, one enjoys param, superior life. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Bhajacharana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Puru replied, O your Majesty, who in this world can repay his debt to his father? By the mercy of one's father, one gets the human form of life, which can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. Can you repeat the translation? Puru replied, O your Majesty, who in this world can repay his debt to his father? By the mercy of one's father, one gets the human form of life, which can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. Purport. The Father gives the seed of the body, and this seed gradually grows and develops until one ultimately attains the developed human body with consciousness higher than that of the animals. In the human body, one can be elevated to the higher planets, and furthermore, if one cultivates Krishna consciousness, one can return home back to Godhead. This important human body is obtained by the grace of the Father, and therefore everyone is indebted to his Father. Of course, in other lives, one also gets a father and mother. Even cats and dogs have fathers and mothers. But in the human form of life, the father and mother can award their son the greatest benediction by teaching him to become a devotee. When one becomes a devotee, he achieves the greatest benediction because he completely averts the repetition of birth and death. Therefore, the father who trains his child in Krishna consciousness is the most benevolent father in this world. It is said, Janame janame sabe pita mata paya Krishna Guru nahi mile bajahari e. Everyone gets a father and mother, but if one gets the benediction of Krishna and Guru, he can conquer material nature and return home back to Godhead. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport and translation to Canto 9, Chapter 18, texts 41 to 43. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. When King Yayati requested his eldest son Yadu to exchange his old age for his youth, Yadu was ready immediately to give his father his youth and take his father's old age, but still he did not go ahead with this idea because he thought that his Krishna consciousness will be delayed. His, he thought that in his old age, after enjoying Jai Krishna Balaram Gonitai, Prabhupada ki jai. After enjoying in his youth, he wants to very quickly turn to Krishna consciousness and dedicate his life to serving Krishna at his old age. And when he becomes a devotee and seriously engaged in devotional service, he didn't wanted material desires to once again come up and disturb his Krishna consciousness. Therefore, he wanted to finish off his material enjoyment so that when he engages in devotional service, he will not be disturbed. Father understood, so he didn't say anything. Then King Yayati requested his other three sons to, in the same way, to exchange their youth for his old age, but they denied. There's a little difference between the first son Yadu and the other three sons. The first son Yadu was serious in Krishna consciousness and he wants to come to practice Krishna consciousness at the earliest. But in the case of the other three sons, they were not aware of religious principles. They simply want to enjoy their life to the fullest extent and they considered that they will continue to live and enjoy in this world and their youthfulness, which was their ignorance. They thought life will go on and continue like this eternally. Let us enjoy and continue our enjoyment. Therefore, they didn't carry out their father's order. So this was wrong on their part. Anyway, then finally, King Yayati requested Puru, who was the youngest, younger than all the other three brothers, but more qualified. This is the important point. Although he was the youngest, he was more qualified. In what sense? Particularly, he was spiritually advanced. Puru was spiritually advanced. So how was he qualified? Here it is described. My dear, when his father requested, my dear son, do not be disobedient like your elder brothers, for that is not your duty. So please take my instruction and agree to my order. So Puru, being very obedient, agrees to his father's proposal. So that's described here. Shri Purur Uvacha. Puru replied, Manushyendra. He addressed his father, first of all, in a very respectful way. He has said, Manushyendra, oh my dear father, the best of the human beings, Manushya Indra. Indra means best. Therefore, Indra is also called king. Because king is the best of the praja. The best among the praja actually becomes the king, not the worst of the praja. The best of the praja becomes the king. That's why we see Brahma also, the king of the universe, the head of the universe, because he's the best of all the jivas in this universe. So generally, the best of all the jivas means the most pious of all the jivas. Who is the best? The most pious being. The most pious jiva generally becomes Brahma. Similarly, the most pious jiva or the best jiva becomes the king in a certain country. So, Puru very respectfully is addressing his father as Manushya Indra, oh best of the human beings, oh majesty, oh your majesty, Konuloke, who in this world, Konuloke, who in this world, Pratikartum Kshamo Yasya, who in this world can repay his debt to his father. Pratikartum Kshamo Yasya, who in this world can repay his debt to his father. Actually, nobody can sufficiently repay his debt to his father, is what he means. prasadat pitur atma krita puman. In fact, Puru is saying, prasadat, by the mercy of one's father, pitur atma krita puman. By the mercy of one's father, prasadat pituhu atma krita puman. We get a human body. We have got a human body by father's mercy. Okay, so what? Everybody is giving birth. Cat is also giving birth. Dog is also giving birth. There also father, mother is there. So what is special? Huh? What is the special prasada? The mercy of the father. The mercy is Atma Krita Puman. You have got a human body. What is so special with the human body? Vindate Param. This human body can enable one to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. So this is the benediction and mercy of one's father. One can even elevate to the highest position of becoming a personal associate of Krishna. And to achieve that, you require a human body. Otherwise, it is not possible. And therefore, this is being made possible by one's father. Therefore, one is obliged to his father. One cannot repay one's debt to his father, is what Puru is replying to his father. That means he was positive. So King Yayati was very happy with his son. So who in this world can repay his debt to his father? Now, we should understand the concept of debt, or in Sanskrit it is called rina. What is rina? Rina means debt. What do you mean by debt? As we normally understand, if I take something, I am liable to return it back. If I receive something, then in a similar proportion, in some of the other form, I should return back what is being received. Otherwise, one will accrue what is called as debt or rina. In simple words, rina also can mean loan, just like a loan. You have taken from somebody something, you owe them back. Either the same thing or in some other form. You owe them back. And you owe them back not just that much, with interest, naturally. Suppose just like we have for our festival, we take Shamiana, we hire sound system, we have to pay them. For so many days, if we take, we have to pay them rent. So everything has to be paid back. Its due value. So that is called debt. So, particularly in human life, it is extremely obligatory. In human life, we are obliged to return back the rina. In fact, it is not only debt to one's father, as listed by Puru. Actually, of course, in this context, Puru is replying to his father. But the Shastra said not only to one's father, we owe to many, many people and living entities other than one's father also. Sriman Narada Muni, in his instructions to Vasudeva, it is described in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, in the 5th chapter, text number 41. Narada Muni instructs Vasudeva, the father of Krishna, like this. Deva Rishi Bhuta Apta Nunam Pitranam Na Kinkaro Nayam Rinicha Rajan Sarvatmayah Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukunda Parihritya Kartum. She says, we are obliged to Deva Rishi Bhuta Apta Nuna Pitruna. We are obliged to 6 category of living entities in our life, in human life. So Deva Rishi Bhuta Apna Pitrana Na Kinkro Nayam Rinicha Rajan. O Raja Vasudeva. So we are obliged to 6 categories of living entities in this world. So first of all, Deva means the Devatas. We receive so much from the Devatas. This sunlight, what we are enjoying. And we have good health because of sunlight. In fact, the day doesn't begin without sunlight. All the factories are running because of sunlight. Energy received from the sun. There is power energy. Even the fire in the kitchen for cooking. Ultimately, all these things are received from the demigods. There is Agni for fire. There is power received from the sun. There is water received from the rain god Indra and even from the oceans. And so many valuable uh, uh, gems you collect from the ocean and from the earth. You collect so many desirables and necessities of life. And we breathe air. So like that from Devatas, Vayudev, Varunadev, Indradev. And because of the moon, there is good vegetation. So Chandra, who is in charge and responsible for this. Surya. So in this way, where we are receiving so much benefit from so many devatas. Every second, every moment, we are obliged to devatas. It's called Deva Rina. That's the first Rina. Deva Rishi. Rishi Rina means just like Srila Vyasadeva, Shukadev Goswami, they have presented this beautiful Bhagavatam and the Vedic literatures. And we are conducting our life based on their direction. So we are obliged to them. Just like you take counseling, just like you take education in the college, in the school, they're guiding you, they have brought you up so many years. So therefore you are obliged to give dakshina. If you don't give, actually you are defaulting. You have to give dakshina, otherwise you're defaulting. You have received so much knowledge, guidance, and you're not returning anything. You don't feel any obligation. So that is Rishirina. So much guidance we are taking. Then what to speak of rishis who are even guiding our spiritual life, even up to the point of liberation, moksha from this world of birth and death. That too, particularly Vyasadeva, Shukadev Goswami, Narada Muni, they're giving us direction wherein we can end our material existence once and for all. To that much degree, they're able to guide us materially, spiritually. So, how much we are obliged to them? Rishi Rina, it is called. Even common people, how to lead a pious life and enjoy happily in this world. If you follow the path of Dharma, so they're given us directions. Dharma Shastras they have written, many rishis. So that is Rishi Rina. Deva Rishi Bhuta. Bhuta means uh, general living entities. Just like we take help even from animals. Just like in those days, pigeons were used for courier system, postal system. Pigeons were used. If I have to send something, today you can book through Ola. There's a delivery app is there in the Ola. The Swiggy is there. Couriers are there. Different systems, postal arrangement is there. In those days, they used to use pigeons. If I have to send something, I'll call a pigeon and give it to the pigeon. The pigeon will go and deliver. So we are obliged. When you are peacefully sleeping at night, the dog is awake all the night and protecting the home, protecting the master. Even when you're out of home, the dog is protecting the house. So you're obliged to the dog also. Like that, even other than human beings, we're obliged. Every species we're obliged because we're receiving help. Just like they say, uh, in the agricultural field. Just like you are drinking cow's milk and becoming nourished and developing finer brain tissues to understand particularly spiritual subject matter, or even otherwise we are drinking cow's milk, so we are obliged to the cow. And the bull, it is plowing the field and, and providing you grains, you're obliged to the bull also. Not only that, in the agricultural field there are many birds who are also responsible for the growth of the crop. So in this way, we are obliged to so many animals, birds, beasts also. That is Bhutarana. Then Apta means relatives. We take so much help from relatives. You're out of station, you call them. I'm not there 2 days in station. Please take care of my house. Or you're going out of station, so you leave your son and daughter in your relative's house or in your neighbor's house. Please take care. I'm not there. No, no problem. Please go on. Come, we'll take care. Or you take their scooter, you take their car, you take sometimes hand loan without interest. So many things. So Aptarana, we have Aptarana, the obligatory obligation towards relatives. Then Rina means human beings, general human beings. We take help from friends, neighbors, Rina. So much help we take. Colleagues in the office, so many colleagues help us, so many neighbors help us in so many ways. They may update us the latest news, or some strike is there. No, please don't go. Even a small thing to a serious thing, how many ways and means unlimited ways we are receiving help from everybody. You're moving on a bus and then somebody sees you, they'll offer you a seat. Your purse fell down, they will give back the purse to you. Your pen fell down, they'll pick up and give you. So many ways we are helped. It creates a rina. We eat food in somebody's home, that creates a rina. We drink water, quarter glass of water. You're obliged to that guest, to that host. One drop of water you take from somebody, you become obliged. And you have to pay back. So that is rina, rina, rina to the debt to the human beings. Then pitra. Pitra means forefathers. Your father, his father, his father. You get a samskara, a culture from your family. That's how, if not for Krishna kindness, it is not easy to change one's nature. You acquire so many benefits. So many benefits by belonging to a certain family. First of all, you have been given a human birth. Is the very first benefit which you have received from the Pitra. If not anything, the very fact you got a human body itself is a great boon upon you. Otherwise, you can take birth as a cat or a dog, but you got a human body. That's quite a serious thing. It's a big asset. It's a big blessing. So you're obliged to your father, your forefathers, and a certain culture you get from that particular family of taking birth to a certain family. Therefore, you say, this family. When you see the person, you see that actually you see their family. Because how he behaves, how he responds, we know how he is being trained. Because the training depends on the culture in that particular family. Family culture depends on the forefathers' culture. So like that everything is connected. So that's why when we see the person, we immediately respect, even though we wouldn't have seen their father, grandfather, we will say, Your family is very good. Must have been very good. You must have taken birth in a very good family. That's why Krishna is called Yadava. Huh? Why? See, even recognizing the Lord in connection with the family. So it's very important. Putra. Yadu was a great devotee of the Lord, highly cultured, great Vaishnava. And therefore Krishna chose to take birth in that family. And Krishna has become famous as Yadava. Imagine the Pitrurina. You get a certain fame belonging to a certain family because you belong to a certain family. Suppose we say like Aras family, like we say in this region. Aras family. Belong to Maharaja family. You have a Rina. Just by the virtue of taking birth in Aras family. Because they have built up that reputation. You just are enjoying that credit of just taking birth in the family, but you have Rina. Even by the very birth, even if you don't do anything. You've taken birth in royal family. For that matter, any family. Suppose your father is a judge or a lawyer or anybody, I'm just saying. You have Rina. You're recognized. You are getting a parentage from that family. So, you have Rina to the parents, to the forefathers. You have Rina. You just can't shirk off that Rina. Get away with that Rina. Even Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, interestingly, constantly all through the Gita, if you see, always Krishna addressed Arjuna as, O Bharata. What else Krishna addressed Arjuna as? O Partha, O Bharata. See, always Krishna is connecting Arjuna to his family. You see? So there is a Pitririna. Because you're getting samskar, you're getting culture. See, Arjuna was brought up, in a nice cultured way. He has gone to Gurukul, he has undergone Vedic training, become an ideal Kshatriya, ideal administrator. Because he was trained by Yudhishthira, he was trained by Pandu, by Dronacharya, especially Pandu, then Bhishma, in that lineage is coming. So Pitrurina is there. Guru Rina is part of the Rishi Rina also. Like he is also obliged to Dronacharya for getting good training. That's a part of the Rishi Rina. So like that we see there are 6 categories of obligation in our life. And especially a civilized human being does recognize this. And he does not want to keep that Rina. He wants to return back that Rina. Hmm? So it is not only Rina to one's father, there are many other Rinas. 5 other Rinas are also there apart from Pitru Rina. So generally, loan, nobody wants to keep the loan, right? Suppose you have taken a loan. You don't want to keep that loan. You want to return it at the earliest. That is for a person who is very sensible. A civilized man, it'll start pinching him if he doesn't pay back the loan. Just clear it off early. That's why actually we should not make any loan. But what to do? These kind of loans is obligatory. You cannot avoid. Somebody else is cooking, you are eating. You're obliged. Somebody else is earning, like the father is earning and you are enjoying. The mother is taking care, you are sick and you are taken to the hospital. So you become obliged. In that way, so many ways we are getting obliged without choice. Because you cannot live otherwise. But the point here is, we should not keep that loan or that rina. We should return it back at the earliest. So that's the point. Just like today, if you see the Shraddha ceremony, the modern man is not bothered. It's all meaningless. Sometimes they also say, he has gone, who has seen? And I am giving, who knows where it is going? I am giving the Shraddha where it is going, who knows? He has already gone, where he has gone, we don't know. See how foolish the modern man is. Just because he has gone or not in front of you doesn't mean obligation is also vanished. Obligation also has also vanished. How can you say that? That's like I've given you loan and I have gone to another city. Does it mean my loan is over because I'm out of the city? Your loan to me is over just because I shifted my city, or I'm not in front of you, or I died and went passed away. Loan still remains, no? Suppose you're taking a bank loan and you have passed away. Your son, your nominee, whoever, that assurance, that surety you give, they have to fulfill that, no? So just because I'm not there, how does it mean? The loan does remain and you are obliged to pay. We know if we don't pay, notice comes, call will come. If you don't pay back, this is credit card. Yeah? You don't pay back the monthly bill, 3 months they will wait, they'll call you back. They'll send a notice, they will call, they will freeze the card, they'll stop the transactions. So they're taking some action, right? So we're obligated. So like that, so we just can't say that the Shraddha or these obligations, what do you mean by all these things? No, it all makes sense. So every single thing is counted. You cannot take anything free in this world. In other words, nothing comes free. You have to pay a price. You have to pay a price. So nothing comes free. So, uh, and as we saw, the rina is not only to father or to the human beings, it is also to even to animals and every single thing we receive. So actually speaking, there is no possibility of returning back the rina. That is why, if you see, this is one more scientific reasoning of taking birth once again because you are not paid back. So you have to take birth to pay back the rina to the concerned. That is why even a drop of water you take, you have to take birth to return back that drop of water, that glass of water. You take one grain from somebody, you have to take birth once again. Either you return back in this life, or if it is not given, because you have taken food in somebody's home, you have to take birth again and you have to feed him. A grain for a grain. This is one more reasoning of which necessitates rebirth. There are many other reasons why we take birth. So therefore, even to think in this regard that there is no rebirth, there is no more birth, this last birth is also foolish, and it's a sign of ignorance of how things operate in this world. How much you've taken? Scot free, you'll go away. Scot free, you'll go away. You're not accountable. How is that possible? You've gone to a store, you put whatever you want in your basket, you come back to your home. You've gone to a car showroom, you picked up a car, you brought it to your house garage. You've gone to mobile showroom, you picked up mobile, you come up. You think the bill will not come? And you can go scot free like that? You can do credit payment. At the end of the month, you have to settle, no? So, this is a foolish understanding that this is the end of, this life is the end of everything. But you have taken so much. So we are obliged to pay back. Then how do we pay back so much obligation, moment to moment, every breath of air we breathe, every morsel of food we eat, we are obliged. Every help we are taking, protection, security systems, obliged to everyone and everybody and everything. So therefore, Narad Muni says, Gato Mukunda Parihritya Kartam Sarvatmaya Sharanam Sharanyam. The only way to completely become free from all obligations is to dedicate and surrender one's life to Mukunda. That's why he got the name Mukunda. Mukunda means one who gives you mukti from this rina. All these kind of rinas. One who gives you liberation from all these different kinds of rinas in your life. Therefore, he's called Mukunda. Wholesale, once and for all, you can get free from all kinds of debts, all 6 kinds of debts, once, one shot. Otherwise, actually, there is no, it's a never ending cycle. It's a never ending cycle. This Rina. Now we can just imagine then how much more we are obliged to the Supreme Lord and the spiritual Master. If even to a cat, even to a dog, even to a neighbor, even to a relative, we are obliged for receiving some help, even from a person from whom we have received one morsel of food, one glass of water, we are obliged. How much we are obliged to the Supreme Lord? And what are we doing in this regard to fulfill our Rina to Krishna, Rina to Guru? Is a very big question. How are we going to repay? The debt is accumulating, accumulating. Just like so long you're not paying back the debt, it is accumulating, accumulating, right? Exactly like that, the debt to Krishna and to Guru is accumulating moment to moment, moment to moment, moment to moment. How are we repaying? What steps have we taken? Till now, we have not even taken any step. So the principle is there, and principle is also adding up here. Plus the interest of not paying it back. Then there'll be 18% fine also. As per the law, here also, if we don't pay back with interest, there is also fine additionally apart from interest. That's how laws operate in this world. It's in this world also. That's how it is. Credit card you don't pay, that's how it is. Any interest, bank loan you take, housing loan you take, you have to pay interest. So like that, our life we have received from the Supreme Lord. How much we are obliged? Everything what we receive, although it is rooted through the father or the mother or through somebody in this world, originally arranged, supplied by the Lord. So how much we are obliged to the Supreme Lord and to the Guru who has directed us to that Supreme Lord, the source of everything, who is carefully taking care of us in this world. So, the only way to repay our debt is by performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord and to the spiritual master, and by surrendering our life. If we surrender our life, the obligation to some extent is fulfilled. But we should also note we can never fulfill our obligation completely to Guru and Krishna. But to some extent, we can fulfill by surrendering our life, not completely. If we don't do that, even that we are defaulting, even that much we're not fulfilling. Even the basic need is not being met. Basic need is not being met. Just like we say, at least interest he should pay, if not clearing the principle. Here, interest also we're not giving to the Lord, principle also we're not giving to the Lord and to the Guru. So that's our position. So, coming back to this verse, which is very interesting, the Father has given us that opportunity to become a devotee of the Lord. And up to the point of becoming an associate of the Lord. Therefore, we are obliged to the Father. Which Father? Father who is giving us this opportunity. In other words, that means every father should give the opportunity to his son and daughter like this. This is an ideal father, as described by Puru, who is giving the opportunity for his son and daughter to become an associate of the Supreme Lord. Just like Suniti in the Bhagavatam 5th canto, we see Dhruva Maharaj's pastime, is the ideal mother. And Puru is describing about the ideal father here. What is that? So, like Suniti, Dhruva Maharaj's mother, she said, go to the forest and search for Krishna. She gave a open permission. Please go and search for Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, blessed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, he is God, but then the position of mother and father is very respectable. To show that respectability, the Lord brings out all these leelas. So she said to Lord Chaitanya, please go and search for Krishna. So Prabhupada writes there also in the purport, this is ideal mother, Lord Chaitanya's mother, who left her son, please go and search for Krishna. Suniti is another ideal mother, please go and search for Krishna. Surrender to Krishna. And here, Rishabhdev says, in the Bhagavatam, uh, uh, there is one famous verse, Guru Nasasya, what is that? Guru Nasasyat, Swajano Nasasyat, Pita Nasasyat, Janani Nasasyat, Daivam Nasasyat, Na patish chasasyat, na mochayadyat samupetam mrityum. So Rishabdev is saying the ideal father, mother is actually one who can deliver their dependents from the cycle of birth and death by giving them an opportunity for complete devotional service, complete devotional commitment. Otherwise, Rishabdev says one should not become father and mother and take that responsibility. So, six things Rishabdev says here also. Guru, one should not become a spiritual master. Then Swajana, one should not become a relative. Then Pita, one should not become a father. Janani means mother, one should become a mother. Then Daivam, one should become a Devata. And Guru, uh, a Patihi, husband. These are all leadership positions. These are all positions of Guru. All of them are natural gurus. So Rishabdev is saying, don't become a guru. If you can't deliver your dependents, that means don't become a husband if you can't deliver your wife to Krishna. If you can't deliver your wife from the cycle of birth and death, you brought them to this world. You made this connection possible. So you are accountable, you are responsible. If you can't deliver them, then don't take that position. If you take up that position and you can't deliver them, you become default. You will be defaulting. Then you will accrue karma for that. So Guru should not accept disciples if he is not capable of ending the cycle of birth and death for his disciples. And if he cannot make him reach the Supreme Lord, attain the Supreme Lord, then he gets karma of taking the surrenderance of the disciple, puja of the disciple. That is allowed. So long he can deliver, he is capable of delivering his student, his disciple. Similarly, father. Similarly, even relative. I claim to be a relative. What do you mean by relative? If you can't help your relatives, your friends, that's what Prabhupada said when he was in the West, many Western when he went. If at all you feel to be an American, to a European, or an Indian, you feel for your country. Desha Bhakti we have, right? People have a lot of Desha Bhakti. Nanna Desha, my country. If you feel the Desha Bhakti, you should deliver your countrymen. Some people are very, society conscious. Samaja seva they want to do. If you are very much society conscious, deliver the society. Similarly, if you are very much attached to your family, my brother, my sister, my father, or my children, yes, if you want to give the highest benediction to your father, mother, or to your children, to your brother, sister, the best thing is to make them a fully surrendered devotee of the Supreme Lord, Mukunda. That's the only way to make them end the cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, it is not possible. This is the best thing which we can give them. In that way, this is the only way we can fulfill our rina to Krishna and Guru. Not only Krishna and Guru, even to the every jiva, the only way to repay our debt is make them Krishna conscious. Make them Krishna conscious. Then you will fulfill your rina to them. Otherwise, giving clothes, education, that livelihood, even in an animal society, bird society, beast society, they're taking care of the material needs. So in human life also, if parents only fulfill the material need and think they are finished with it, no. That is a primary thing. That's actually a secondary and tertiary thing. The primary obligation of the parent towards their children is to bring them up in Krishna consciousness. Then they fulfill their obligation, because of which we are obligated to the parents. That is why it is said, Mata Pita Guru Daivam. So it is said, Mata Pita Guru Daivam. Why? Because the mother and father are the first gurus, even according to Rishabdev. Who should take you to the Guru? Actually, you can put it in two ways. Mata Pita should lead you to the Guru, who will lead you to Krishna. This is the right understanding. Or Mata Pita are natural gurus who will lead you to Daivam. Then such Mata Pita are gurus. Natural gurus. And Guru means, the concept of Guru means he should show you Krishna, not Maya. Then he is Goru, not Guru. Goru means cow in Bengali language. He's an animal. Of course, this is what the Shastra is saying. not in a disrespectful sense, in a philosophical sense, meaning an animal cannot lead you to God, but a guru must lead you to God. That is the difference. So, mother and father actually should lead the children to Krishna. In that way, they're giving the best blessing to their child. How? By stopping the suffering of their children once and for all. That's what the parents want. But how can they achieve that? Only by making the child Krishna conscious, by relieving the child from all karmas and all rinas, and ending the cycle of birth and death of their children, and preparing them to go back to the kingdom of God. In that way, they will be eternally happy. In that way, the parents will be fulfilling their obligation to their children. So they are the ideal parents as described here. Therefore, we are obliged to such mother and fathers. So Puru is recognizing this and mentioning this. So I'll stop here. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.